Welcome everybody to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima, and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today we have on our show Nicole Moore, and she's a love coach at loveworksmethod.com, and I'm so excited to have her here today because today she's going to tell you 3 signs he's an unavailable man. But before we jump into it, Nicole, tell our audience how you became a love coach.
Hi, everyone. So I became a love coach, Suzanne, not because I was perfect in love and I knew how to get it right. I became a love coach because I struggled so much in my love life. I was so insecure, and it felt like I was awesome and rocking it out in all the other areas of my life. And then when it came to my love life, I was like, how am I a crazy person all of a sudden? Why is this so hard, and why is this so difficult, and why can't I get what I want? And after enough pain, honestly, I got fed up, and I was like, I'm going to figure out how to make love work. And I devoted my life really to learning about love and how to love well. And I figured out that love is skill. Like anything else, it's a learnable skill. And when you know how to do the skill of love right, you can have an amazing, loving relationship.
That is so true. And I've seen that a lot where a woman has everything together, is super successful in her career and every other part of her life. But when it comes to love, she just struggles. And it's very common. So I could see why you did that. Well, so tell us the 3 signs he's an unavailable man.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one, it might sound obvious, but I feel like I have to say this because women don't get it. The first sign he's an unavailable man is that he tells you. And what I mean by that is he says, I'm not looking for a relationship right now, or work is my number one priority, or he puts something on his profile like just looking for friends and fun. And why this is, I really think this is important is because I cannot tell you, Suzanne, how many women have emailed me and they're like, I'm dating this guy he's married, or he says he doesn't want a relationship, and like, how do I make him commit? And they think that they can make him commit. So you need to look at the words that are actually coming out of his mouth and how he's talking about relationship. If he's never mentioned to you the fact that he wants to be in a relationship ever, or in a relationship with you, then it is very unlikely that that man is actually available for a relationship. Just think about it from your perspective. Like, you want a relationship. You talk about wanting a relationship. Like, those words are coming out of your mouth. If those words don't come out of his mouth, or he doesn't put that on his profile, then he is not available for a relationship. So you need to actually look at what he is saying rather than what you are desiring or the fantasy that you've made up in your mind. And this sounds obvious, but I mean, so many women, it's not actually obvious to them.
It is. That's very true, Nicole. I'm so glad you used that as your first tip, because I will tell you, I hear that all the time too, as a woman will say, oh, he told me, he's not really looking for anything serious, and they think that they can change him. And I'm like, no, believe him when he says he is not looking for a relationship. Don't think that you're going to be so awesome that you're going to change him. Or another way I hear women think is that, well, if I just have sex with him, the sex will be so great that he'll want to be with me. And ladies, let me just tell you, see, Nicole's even shaking her head too, is that sex is just sex for a man, whether it's with you or another woman. So don't think that's what's going to seal the deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's your second sign that he's unavailable?
So the second one is you got to look at, is he actually present or not? And I think this is really key, and a lot of women aren't looking for this. And what I mean by present is when you're in front of him, what does his energy feel like? Is it scattered? Is he looking all over the place? Is he checking his phone? You can feel it, right? You can feel when a guy is kind of like uncomfortable and he's not fully landed in his body, and he's not fully present with you. He's either in his own head or he's looking around at the restaurant, and you just don't feel him fully with you. And it's my perspective that the reason people aren't present, like the deeper level, is because there's stuff inside of them that they haven't dealt with yet. So they can't hang out in their body. They've got to go to their heads. And so that man is not a man who's fully available for a relationship because he hasn't dealt with his stuff on the inside yet. There's still, and that stuff that he hasn't dealt with, what do you think happens when you start moving closer to him? He freaks out. He's like, I can't look at this stuff, right? I have to pull away. So a man who's actually present with you on the date, when you feel like he's really there with you, he's able to look at you in the eyes, and you feel like you guys are the only two people in the room, that's a man who he's faced enough of his stuff. He knows who he is. He can actually be ready for a relationship. The other guys who are looking around on their phone, in this kind of nervous energy that's moving around a lot, they're just not landed enough yet in themselves to really be able to have a great relationship with you.
That's true. And actually, I've interviewed body language experts, and they have said that body language actually speaks louder than words itself. So watch a man's body language. Nicole's absolutely right. Okay, so what's the third sign that he's unavailable?
So you have to watch how he actually talks about women in general, okay? So if he's on the date and he's making any disparaging comments about, women, or he's talking about his ex and you're like, this is a little negative, then that's, again, it's an indication that there's some stuff inside of this man that he's not going to be ready. And the reason I'm talking about the inside stuff is because that's what stops men from being available and ready. So if he's talking about women in a way that you're like, I don't know, and he kind of made a negative comment about his ex, or he's not ready for the relationship. He hasn't processed what's happened with people in the past, so he's not going to actually see you in front of him. He's going to see his exes or his whatever preconditioned notion he has of women. So you have to watch how he actually talks about the women he's dated in the past and just women in general in the present. Is this a man who loves women, who has respect and appreciation for women, or is this a man who has some negative concepts of women? If so, you don't want to be with that man because he's not going to be fully available to the relationship. He's going to hold himself back because he's actually afraid that women are going to hurt him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it makes total sense. And I've actually seen it with some of the men that I've worked with where I'll give you a couple of examples. One example is where a man thinks that all women are just using him for the date, to pay for the date, for drinks or dinner, and he thinks she's not interested. She just wants to use me for a free meal. And I'm like, no, that's not the case. But if you start to hear some of that negative energy coming through, it's not the man for you.
Yeah, and it's so silly that men think that, because I feel like most women, we can pay for our own meals, right? But it's also like women do the opposite, right? We have all these assumptions about men that aren't true, So the real guy who's ready for a relationship, he's not listening to that stuff like women just want to use me. He's just there. He's excited to be on the date with you. He's present. He's open. You can feel him bringing his heart to the date rather than like all of the stuff in his mind that doesn't even make any sense anyway.
That is true. All right. So these have been some great tips. So Nicole, tell our audience how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at loveworksmethod.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on the Single and Stiletto Show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you like to view the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. And if you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. If you'd like to get our free ebook on the 3 secrets guaranteed to attract any man, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.